NFL, 6 games they are now giving us. Thanks to this new format they threw out there last year. Add the 7th game or 7th team getting in gives you that extra game each day. So you get the 6 games instead of just the 4. And it is just drinking from a fire hose. And they gave you the Monday nighter this week. So, last season you go 3-3. This year, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make sure that you're getting as much as you can, but we don't want to waste something in the early Saturday window. We're going to save that for Monday night. Now, I may put one of those teams at a disadvantage into the next week, coming off a short week, but oh well. Or well, get the bye if you don't like it. And it's going to be one game. I would imagine that team would definitely play on Sunday because it wouldn't be fair for the winner of Arizona and Los Angeles to play on a Saturday in the second weekend. But first game, Saturday, Vegas in Cincinnati, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in Joe Burrow, 5.5-point dogs. Raiders are a great story. Derek Carr has held this team together all year through John Gruden's firing. Oh my goodness. You think of everything that has happened, Damon Arnett, Ruggs, the whole bit. And they somehow managed to get in the playoffs. They had a win and you're in, and they win the game. They get in the playoffs, eliminate the Los Angeles Chargers, and they get in there, and they're representing the AFC West as a wild card. I think Joe Burrow is too much for him. I know Cincinnati hasn't won a game in 31 years in the playoffs. Been there plenty of times. Have had good teams. None of them had an offense quite this explosive. And none of them have had a quarterback like Joe Burrow. And so as much as I love Derek Carr and the story that is, and Josh Jacobs pounding the rock and everything that they have going for him out there in Vegas, Max Crosby, they've got a great rushing attack of what they're able to do. Their pass rush, that's the one thing that worries me about Cincinnati, is where Vegas is good up front with their front 4 getting pressure. Cincinnati is not great. It's been the weakness of their team all year, and that's the offensive line. So they're going to have to scheme some stuff up. Zach Taylor finding a way to get the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands, get the rushing game going with Joe Mixon, because you can't just pour it on Joe Burrow in straight dropbacks, 5 and 7 step, and expect the offensive line to be able to hold up, because he's going to have guys breathing down his neck. And I believe Max Crosby has like 100 pressures or something crazy this year. He's been all over. They've got a multitude of talented rushers. They can come from both sides. I still like the Bengals to win. 5.5 is a big number. Playoff games are close. Cincinnati can really score the ball, but I thought the Chargers could really score the ball too. And Justin Herbert can air that thing out. I would probably take the points, but I take Cincinnati to win this game. Pats, Bills, Saturday night game. New England, 4-point dogs heading in to Buffalo. It's supposed to be bitter cold, 0 degrees. Buffalo, I think, has, I don't know if you can ever fully have Bill Belichick figured out, but I think they're comfortable and confident playing against the New England Patriots. And that's something that's really tough to do, especially for a team that's in your division that has dominated the NFL. Last year, they weren't quite as good. They got a lot of their defensive players back. They retooled that offense. They drafted Mac Jones. You saw what they did to Buffalo in their first matchup. Hey, it's windy. It's freezing. We're going to line up and rush the ball 60 times a game. What Bill Belichick is going to do, he's going to find your weak spot, or however the game needs to be played. And he's just going to lean into it and lean into it and lean into it and hope that you ultimately crack. Now, Buffalo can throw it. They obviously have the talented receivers. Josh Allen can run it. Their running game has been picking up. Josh Allen, he can do it all. He's a pretty big game quarterback at this point with what I've seen, and he's a big physical guy, checks a lot of boxes. I think Buffalo gets him. I'm hesitant to take anything though over a field goal. I would probably take the points in this, but Josh Allen has to make sure he dominates this game. He does not turn the football over. They have to get the rushing attack going because it's going to be cold. And Diggs has got to win. He's got to go out there and win. He's been one of the best receivers in the NFL all year long. He has to win these matchups to be able to have success. But I think the Bills ultimately get it done and move on forward. Bills Mafia, get excited. It's going to be a fun one. Philly, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, 8.5-point favorites. I understand, Godwin's out, Antonio Brown's gone. They've got a lot of things swirling around. Mike Evans was on a pitch count. He should be a little bit more healthy, hopefully this week, and be able to move in the right direction. Philly, they've been relying on Jalen Hurts to run the football and that pretty good, that solid rushing attack. Heck, them getting in the playoffs this year, way ahead of schedule with where I thought the Philadelphia Eagles would ultimately be. So huge, huge achievement for them. But this is why Tom Brady plays football. This is why he's here. He does it for the playoffs, to win, for hat and t-shirt games, for ring games. That's why Tom Brady does it. He is an unbelievable competitor. And frankly, we've watched him do it all season long, all career long, regardless whose his weapons are. He finds a way to get it done. He's got Gronk back. He looks pretty healthy. They got to get the running game figured out a little bit. I think Tampa Bay wins this. 8.5 is another big number, but I don't think Philly's really all that great on offense. And I think their defense can be had. And Tom Brady, I would be stunned if he mails in something, anything less than excellent on Sunday morning. So Sunday afternoon. So looking at that, I'd probably lay those points as well. Next game, we've got the classic matchup of the 90s, two teams that had dynasties that overlapped, the San Francisco 49ers, Dallas Cowboys. Neither of them have really done a ton in the postseason. San Francisco did make a Super Bowl. Dallas has made a couple mild runs, but neither one of them have done anything since the 90s of their former glory. To really be able to get there. I guess San Fran's been to 2 Super Bowls, so they've done a little, but no one's won anything. And these were 2 of the franchises that they've got five Lombardis apiece. I mean, that's some big time ball right there with what they've been able to do. So 2 of the most storied franchises in NFL history battling together. Dallas this year, it was supposed to be the year of offense. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Gallup, all of them. Well, you got some injuries now. The triumvirate has become a duo. And frankly, a little bit of the time, the offense the team has been carried by the defense with Micah Parsons and what he's been able to do with Diggs and his double-digit interceptions. Question for Dallas: will they be able to get it going offensively, running the football, and can that defense step up big and be able to slow down the rushing attack of the 49ers? Because that's what they're really good at, is rushing the football. Kyle Shanahan does it in a multitude of ways. They can get George Kittle going. He hasn't been all that effective here late in the season, but it's that rushing attack. Deebo Samuel moving him around in a multitude of ways. It's 3 points. I don't feel great about this game. I would not want to bet it. If I wasn't sitting here talking to you about it, I would not put soft earned dollars on this. I think there's a good chance San Fran pulls the upset. I like Dak in this situation. I'm going to lean on the more experienced quarterback and think that he pulls it out. But San Francisco is probably going to give them all they can handle. Pittsburgh, Kansas City. Big Ben, his last ride. They find a way to win against Baltimore, and you think that might be his last game. Well, lo and behold, the Jaguars give them a nice present. And there is no tie on Sunday night. And so Pittsburgh gets into the playoffs. The biggest dog of the weekend, 12.5 points. It's massive. It's a massive line. I think Pittsburgh covers it. I think their defense bows up enough to be able to get it done. Kansas City's been playing much better here towards the end of the year. Although their offense did struggle against the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh, Ben has done just enough. It's his swan song. It's nice that he got into the playoffs in his final year. I don't see them winning this game. I would take the points just because 12.5 is a huge number. And this game kind of screams more 27-17 to me. But we'll see how much offense Pittsburgh ultimately has. But it looks like this Kansas City train is starting to get pointed in the right direction. Outside of the hiccup against Cincinnati, who I think has turned out to be pretty darn good, they seem to be having it going in the right direction. Defense, when Chris Jones is healthy and they have everybody there ready to go, that defensive line is formidable. And Steve Spagnuolo, their defensive coordinator, usually has them playing really good ball.